Yeah, it's true that every country has a different set of assets, different cultural conditions, and they need to develop programs that are suited to their own needs. But at the same time, I think there are some common things that all the countries should be focusing on, and one of them is social justice as being and planetary peace as being the center of transition strategies. And each country is going to interpret it in its own way, but if they have the common value of maintaining planetary peace and a planetary consciousness, I think we'll get to the same place. So, international consensus, the first thing I want to say is there is international consensus. 193 countries have signed the Sustainable Development Goals and agreed to implement them by 2030. Now, you are right that there are impediments, or progress has not been as fast as we would like to see or as high as we want it to be. But those are implementation challenges that involve, whenever you're trying to make massive transformations of the world, one should expect those kind of impediments. So I think we can overcome those impediments. We need more international and multilateral collaboration. Universities, in my view, have a central role to play in all of this, in implementing concepts of sustainability, not just by creating scientific research, but also participating in the changes. So all the technologies that you have named are important. Climate change, by reducing carbon, by using renewable energy, etc. And in addition, there are more technologies. And I'm a great fan and believer that technological solutions are going to be the center of change. However, I also feel that technologies alone are not sufficient. Technologies serve certain purpose. There are means to an end. And so in addition to developing these means of these technologies, plus maybe synthetic biology and others, we also need to think about the ends, which is the values that guide these technologies. We need to be on the same page with regard to pursuing the values of sustainability. So in my view, youth is central to achieving an ecological civilization. We are at a very peculiar time when more than 50% of the world is under the age of 30, and virtually more than 90% of the leadership of the world is over the age of 60. So this big gap puts us into a particularly different position. We need an ecological civilization that is built on the vision and on the desires of people who are going to live it. And that is the young generation. So we need to empower that generation. We need to make place for them. We need to bring them into decision-making procedures in businesses, in universities, and in corporations. So incorporating the youth into the path is absolutely central to achieving ecological civilization. My 3 keywords for the International Decade for Science and Sustainable Development are reinvest, reimagine, and regenerate. By reinvest, I mean the sustainability economy is a multi-trillion-dollar economy, and we will not be able to get to those multi-trillion dollars if we don't make an investment first. Reimagine, I mean we can't build the future sustainable economy based on past old ideas. We need new ideas. We need to reimagine the future, and we need to take the world in that new direction. And finally, regenerate. By regenerate, I mean you can't have a global earth system that is living by only extracting out of it and not putting back into it. So by regeneration, I mean we need to learn to build an economic system that puts back into the natural system whatever is needed to keep that system alive and growing. So those are my 3 keywords, and I think universities have a central role to play in rethinking all of these keywords. They can't just see themselves as producing knowledge for the purpose of consumption. Universities need to become both the conveyors of these knowledge, but also they need to become part of the communities that need to bring about change, because knowledge, if it is just produced and left in abstraction, does not get used. And we need usable knowledge. So universities have to rethink their own role as becoming part of the implementers of the knowledge they produce.